Okay, we're going to call this the one where Jeff doesn't dick around. Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, a movie trivia podcast where I give my three contestants three different movies.
Oh, fuck, you had it.
It's so early. And they try to give me the most random, obscure, or minor actors from those films. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, and I have nothing funny to say about this guy today because it's so early in the morning, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey, Jeff. You say it's early, but it's like 10 a.m.
I know, but it does feel early considering we usually do these at like 7 or 8 at night. So it's a very different dynamic.
And I haven't had a shot of vodka before we started like normal to make me funny. So it's going to be a very serious episode of Deep Cuts.
Yeah, I was having a drink in the last week's episode. And my wife was like, does that make you funnier? And I was like, it doesn't make me not funnier. I'll tell you that.
It definitely makes you think you're funnier. So that's something.
Yeah, it's confidence. It's all about the confidence. What's going on? I know we talked on Thursday, but has anything changed with you?
Not really. But last week we talked about mixtapes and playlists and mix CDs for people.
Dude, you make me talk about that every week. It seems like that has been an ongoing thing for you.
So continuing that subject, but mostly because I'm now curious, anecdotally. Nope, I'm gonna take that again. Anecdotally? I was right the first time. You can make that sound better in post. I'm curious if you or anyone you know, or anyone our guests have ever done the opposite. Has anyone ever broken up with someone with a mixtape or a mix CD or a playlist? Has there been a playlist? Yeah, Robin's Call Your Girlfriend and ABBA's Knowing Me, Knowing You and Thank God You Introduced Me to Your Sister. All of those songs. And they're I hope they get it.
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon.
Yeah.
That's Or what's the Flight of the Conchords song?
The Prettiest Girl in the Room?
No, there's the Carol Brown song about all the women that have dumped him over time. Carol Brown took the bus out of town, I think is the last line. And the one girl, I can't remember what her name. It's essentially 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover or whatever like that. But the one line is I can't remember what her name is, but it somehow rhymes with amnesia, and she couldn't remember me, kind of thing. So, but yeah, no, man, that's a horrible thing to do to a person. I would rather be ghosted than
ghosted is the worst. I can tell you that from experience.
But you've never received a breakup playlist.
No, but I almost feel like that's better than just a breakup text from someone because at least some care went into it.
I don't know. There's maybe way too much care going into a breakup CD.
Maybe.
They've really gone through and these are the 12 reasons why I think you're a piece of shit.
Especially if it's a CD, because you would physically burn it and hand it to someone.
Here you go with a nice little cover art that you've made on it of a broken heart, and
don't say anything else. Just pass off the CD.
And not even directly.
Exactly.
You give it to a friend, the notes of Jeremy likes you. You hand that off.
And you're oh, this is so sweet. And you start listening to it and you're oh, these are all the most terrible songs of all time.
My parents always talked about how, because we would listen to a lot of Meatloaf as a family, because great artist, terrible meal. And they would sing Paradise by the Dashboard Light, because that song is great, so it'd be on in the car. But they always really hit that final verse. So now I'm praying for the end of time, so hurry up and arrive. That whole part. And now they've been divorced for 12 years. So maybe that was relevant.
As a signal.
Yeah. I tried to reference that one a couple weeks ago when I said to you, and with me as always, and I was just like that Meatloaf song. And
no, that was 2 out of 3 ain't bad, which would be another breakup song.
But what I really meant was, praying for the end of time, because if I'm going to be with you forever, Alex, it could end sooner than later, if possible.
Well, I'm glad you got that wrong, because you casually referencing Paradise by the Dashboard Light to me is a very different context than 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Well, I definitely don't want you and need you, Alex. That's for sure. Well, we've got, I'm going to say, sometimes we say we got a special show, we got a great show, we got a big show. This is an interesting show. We have one person. No, in a sense, no, not, but in a good way. We've got a person who's listened to the podcast before, but has never played.
Okay.
And we have a person who we don't really know, other than a very quick kind of 15-minute video chat I did with him. We don't know much about him. I know he's got his own like Twitter and his own podcast about films and stuff like that, but we don't know. He could be the greatest player at this game, or he could be the worst. So we're rolling the dice on it, and we're hoping for the best. I have a good feeling about it because he's laughing at our jokes, and so that you always get a thumbs up from me when you laugh at our jokes. So I'm going to introduce him to the show first. This is Tommy from Haven't Seen It, a movie podcast where each week he and his co-host Tim cover a movie that one of them has never watched before. You can find them on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Welcome to the show, Tommy.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Great to be here.
No worries. Glad to have you. So when you do your podcast where one of you has never watched it, like does one of you suggest a movie and just to confirm that the other guy hasn't watched it yet? Like, how does it work?
I mean, there's sometimes where I'm watching a movie like late at night on like a Friday night, a little drunk, and I text my co-host Tim being like, have you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop? And he's like, no. I'm like, all right, we got covered. There, that's where we go. And sometimes I'll just like scroll through like Google, look like what movies were released 30 years ago in like August of like 2024 or 1994 or something like that. And then if there's one that's good, then we'll be like, okay, Tim, have you seen this one? And sometimes he'll tell me. So for me, I'm more of the horror guy of our podcast. So like I've had to show Tim Halloween, Scream. We're going to do Texas Chainsaw eventually. And me, I haven't watched a lot of the classics. Like I never saw Godfather before we started this podcast, or Godfather Part 2. So, or Chinatown.
Chinatown's great.
Yeah, Chinatown was an amazing first watch. I can't believe I never watched it before. Both of us are big movie fans, so it's always shocking. Like, how have we never gone to like this movie before? We had a friend on last year that never saw Jurassic Park. And we're like, all right, let's have you on so we can talk about Jurassic Park. Like, have you never watched it? What's wrong with your life?
So do they then, is the deal then that they watch it after that, or do they watch it like?
No. We have the person watch the movie, whether it's me or Tim beforehand. We both watch it or rewatch it just so we can talk about it and be like, so what do you think? What do you think the movie is going to be like before you started watching this? What was your expectations? Because sometimes when you watch a movie where it's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and like you watch it like, I didn't like it as much as I thought it would. That's definitely happened to us before.
Because yeah, like I know with like Alex, my co-host here, he had not watched Goonies until, much later in like, whereas I watched Goonies when it came out and I was like 10 years old or whatever. So it really hit home for me. Whereas Alex is like, meh, it's okay. And then we realized
one of those movies that unless you saw it as a kid, it's not E.T. where you're like, oh, this is still like a very enjoyable movie for an adult. I think it's one of those nostalgic things, much like how I feel about Armageddon, and Jeff is not a big fan of that, where like that was such a good kids movie for me.
Like I could be talking to him about, he's like, oh, Con Air is amazing. I'm like, Con Air, while is fun and has a lot of fun things about it, I'm like, makes no sense whatsoever. And he's like, no, Jeff, it's just fun. I'm like, okay, but as an adult, I see a lot of problems with Con Air.
There's no problems with it. The end.
So, Alex, does that make you a late Gooner for watching
Goonies? Well done, Jordan.
Yeah.
Let's get him in here too, so he can officially join the podcast
and make more terrible jokes.
This is Jordan. He's a TV operations technician hailing from a small town in Ontario. His passions include mountain biking, snowboarding, time-lapse photography, video games, snacks, and watching movies, making music, and traveling. He's got a lot of likes, and like I have like 3 things. He's got like 12. He must not have children. That's what allows him to do all these things. You can find him on Instagram at Good Signs with a SINES to check out some of his music and nature videography. Please welcome to the show, Jordan Schmidt. Hello, Jordan.
I'm excited to be here. I'm a fan of the show. Long time, first time.
That's great. We're happy to have you here. Yeah, and you're going to bring some great jokes to back Alex up with, because you guys are kind of the same generation, if I'm not mistaken. Are you guys both millennials? That's kind of your
late 80s babies.
That's my thing. I'm a millennial. Yeah. I'm the very early 90s.
Okay, you guys suck.
Same thing. I'll just round mine up. We're the same age
by a few months. Yeah. It's fine.
Oh, are you millennial too, Tommy? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, late millennial, 94. So right in the cutoff.
Okay. All right. Well, this will be interesting then. I'm just looking at the movies I have selected for today.
I'll allow it, Tommy. Yeah. You're still part of the club.
Okay, so why don't we hop into it? So this week I'm sticking with I'm thinking of a movie, and I'm going to ask you guys to try to guess what that movie is. So Jordan, since we've added you last here to the cast, I'm going to ask you, what movie am I thinking of?
So I think that you are thinking of Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
I think we've had a Paul Blart Mall Cop guest before, haven't we, Alex?
I don't know.
But maybe not.
It all blurs together. Not the sequel for sure.
Not the sequel. Not okay.
I'm gonna stick with that answer.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Tommy, what is your guess?
Can I go Paul Blart Mall Cop 1?
You can. I mean, it's like playing Price is Right's rules. You're like, if Jordan's close, I'm gonna cut him off with number 1. That's like saying $1 on Price is Right. It's an interesting strategy. Alex, what movie am I thinking of?
I mean, I almost want to change it now because I feel like I've got the whole library of cinema, and if I just pick anything that's not like a Kevin James comedy, I'm gonna get it. But instead, I'm gonna go with my initial guess, which is kind of piggybacking on Tommy's earlier reference to Beverly Hills Cop, and I'm gonna go with 48 Hours.
You know what? You guys are all around it, surprisingly. The movie I was thinking of was Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So
what is that?
It's a Sylvester Stallone Estelle Getty movie where he's a cop and Estelle Getty is his mom, like Sophia from the Golden Girls. And
mom cop, yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that I've ever seen it, but I know the poster was like Estelle Getty with like a gun. I gotta say you're all pretty close. It's a cop movie, because it's a comedy and kind of a unrealistic cop movie. I'm gonna give it to Tommy because he did undercut Jordan with the Paul Blart Mall Cop 1.
Incredible.
So Tommy,
it's all right. It's fair. Yeah. Fair rules.
Would you like to go first, second, or third? And I'll just let you know that we go serpentine. So we go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So if you pick first, you won't pick again until we come back up. So would you like to go first, second, or third?
I'll go third.
That's Alex's
That's my favorite spot. So you're dead to me, Tommy. And thanks for coming on the show.
Jordan, since you were second closest, would you like to go first or second?
I will go second. Right in the middle.
It's a safe place to be, and that'll put Alex in his much disliked spot of number 1. I think, right, Alex? But you know what? You're playing against 2 people who've never played before. This might be the best place for you to be. I want to clear up something. So we're recording this. The last episode we did has not aired yet. But you will find this out when you listen to this week's episode. Is that we found out that Alex won 2 weeks ago, but shouldn't have won. We gave him points for an actor that he misidentified and I misremembered, and I gave him 16 points for Nelson Franklin from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Nelson Franklin was not in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
No, he was. I just gave you a bunch of Rich Sommer credits because they are very similar.
They look very much alike. So that means that our friend Hillary Conahan actually won. So I reached out to Hillary. So the prize was that Alex won was at the end of the game. He got to choose who would be our dream celebrity guest on the show, and I would try to get in contact with them, understanding that they're never going to come on the show. Alex went for Jack Quaid from The Boys and from Scream. We've reached out to him, and
and surprise, he comes in. Could you imagine?
Yes. So, and if he does come on, I'm going to get a tattoo of Jack Quaid's choice on my untattooed arm of whatever he wants. So we're going to stick with that because Alex did win this week. But I asked Hillary to give me her pick, and she's chosen Jay Baruchel, which is great but she says only if Alex will introduce him in his best Jay Baruchel voice, which I think is a horrible idea to do.
That's such a funny idea.
I don't think I want to ask Jay Baruchel to come on a show while someone else mocks the way he talks. And not mocks, but just does
his Jay
Baruchel.
Mockery. It's a bang-on impression.
It's flattery.
Yes.
So we will try that this week with our social media to see if we can get in touch with Jay Baruchel. So I'm going to give you guys 3 movies now, and you're going to start thinking of some deep cuts, okay? So the 3 movies this week are 1993's comedy Dazed and Confused.
Oh, no.
2007's Hot Fuzz. And then the third film is 2004's Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Do we get any points for Darren when he dressed up as Team Zissou for Halloween that one year?
Did he really do that? Oh, it was for like the Silver Snail thing, wasn't it?
And like he had a whole group of them. It's like him, his wife, their friends.
No points for that. And I will tell you this, Tommy, since you're new to the show, there's one person who appears in more than one movie. If you guess that person, you get all the points for them. Okay? You don't have to identify what movie you're guessing the person from, and you can go back and forth and choose wherever you want. There is no rhyme. If you only know one of these movies really well, hit that movie hard. But if you're pretty well rounded and you want to try to grab people from multiple movies, go for it. But I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it, write down any names or anything. Hopefully I have everyone that you guys guess, because sometimes people give me very, very deep cuts that I have not written down.
It's just Craig. You can just say it's Craig.
It's just our friend Craig, who, gives us the guy who's the third PA, but then appeared in one shot kind of thing. So, yeah. All right, Alex, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. I know Hot Fuzz pretty well. I'm not even writing anything down for Dazed and Confused. And I could maybe stumble through Life Aquatic, but I haven't seen it in probably 15 years. I like that movie a lot. That was the first Wes Anderson movie I watched that I really, really loved. But that's probably the last time I saw it. So do we get any points for like the plasticine fish?
Yeah, all the points. All the points.
They're the same fish in Pingu.
Okay, buddy. What do you got? What's your
all
first
right, so my
cut?
deepest cut for Hot Fuzz, I'm hoping he's credited, and I assume that he is, but the Santa that stabs the lead is Peter Jackson.
Yeah, Peter Jackson is an uncredited role.
Yeah.
So Tommy, while you're playing, they have to appear on IMDb. That is kind of our, and even if they're uncredited, that works. Like, we had a friend who was in some scenes in Scott Pilgrim, but she's uncredited because she's just walking through a party scene. So everyone always says Sarah Evans, and it's like, no, she's not in the movie because her name's not in the movie. Alex goes with Peter Jackson, a very nice deep cut for 18 points out of a possible 20. Very good start. Very good start, Alex. So we're going to go to Jordan and see what he can bring to the table.
Okay, so Hot Fuzz is definitely the one I'm most familiar with. And I'm going to go with Stephen Merchant is the one who calls about the swan missing, I think.
The missing swan. Yeah. I was going to try to work in the other movie I was going to try to do to work it in with Steve Merchant was going to be Good Boys. But there's just not enough people in Good Boys to make it worthwhile. Steve Merchant for 10 points.
Right. Sorry, there seems to be a swan running around. Leave That's the only other one that I got. Him and Jay Baruchel.
Yeah.
Very nice. 10 points, Steve Merchant. All right, Tommy. So you're picking in the third spot. So that means you've got 2 picks in a row. You're going to go third and fourth here. So take your time. Give me your deepest 2 cuts.
All right. I'm feeling pretty confident. Dazed and Confused and Hot Fuzz are both in my top 10. I've seen the movie countless times. I don't know much about Life Aquatic, but I'm going to go with Hot Fuzz first. His girlfriend at the beginning of the movie is Cate Blanchett, completely masked.
Well done.
Yep. And hey, anyone? She's a double deep cut because she's also in Life Aquatic.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
very nice.
Yeah, she's the love interest. So you're getting 14 points for Hot Fuzz because she's a little bit more of a famous, uncredited role. And then in Life Aquatic, she's worth 3 because she is like the primary love interest. So 17 points for Cate Blanchett.
That's a good pull.
That's a nice cut. Tommy,
nice.
You got your second cut right here.
All right, so Dazed and Confused. I'm gonna go with Joey Lauren Adams from Chasing Amy. She's in the movie. She's one of the high schoolers. So,
yes, she is. Yeah, and that's the first time you kind of hear that raspy voice of hers. She's like, "All right, you little freshman." No, never mind. She says something else. She's like, "I went through it." She's like, "I went through it." Yeah. Well, So Dazed and Confused, Joey Lauren Adams for 8 points. Because I mean, as stacked as that cast is, most of the people who are the big stars of that movie have very small roles, right? Where the main stars of those films are kind of more or less more unknown than Joey Lauren Adams. 8 points. Okay, Jordan, we're coming back up the board to you.
Okay, my next guess again, I'm going to go with Hot Fuzz because it's the one I'm most familiar with. Bill Nighy is one of the... I don't know his exact rank, but he's one of the police officers in London.
Yeah, he's one of the commanding officers in London. Bill Nighy for 9 points. Solid. Alex, these guys came to play today.
They sure did. And you know what? I don't love
it. He's like, oh, it's great. You're bringing on people who've never played before. I can win. But when they start pulling out Cate Blanchett double deep cuts, it gets a little tougher, right?
For real.
Yeah. All right, Alex, what do you got?
I'm going to piggyback onto Jordan's Bill Nighy with Martin Freeman, also in Hot Fuzz.
Yes, Martin Freeman also plays one of the officers in the London division. Worth a little bit more than Bill Nighy, or a little less than Bill Nighy's 9. He's worth 7.
That's fine.
He's a bigger draw to a film. Alex, since we're back at the top, you get your third pick here.
She's not in it a ton, but she's probably, I'm gonna guess she's worth 6 points. But I'm taking Olivia Colman as like the very foul-mouthed like sergeant.
Yes, you're pretty close on your point guess. She's 7 points.
Great.
Yeah, she's great in that one. Actually, every cop in that movie is great. Like they're all the worst and best all at the same time. I got to go back and watch that one.
That one has grown on me. I remember not being totally blown away the first time I saw it because I love Shaun of the Dead so much. But then every time I rewatch Hot Fuzz, I like it more and more. And it's really solid.
I think Hot Fuzz is probably the first Edgar Wright that I saw. So that it holds a special place in my heart for that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had seen Spaced already at that time when I watched the movies, or did I watch Spaced after I had seen at least those two movies? Because it'd be pretty weird if I had gone out and like bought Spaced on DVD without knowing
of nothing.
Yeah, for no reason.
But I mean, it's great too. Okay, Jordan.
Okay, continuing on Hot Fuzz.
Son of a bitch! Stop.
It's all I got, Alex. I got to go with it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't know if I hope this is the guy, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know his name, so I'm going to give you some other things he's been in. He was the dad in Broadchurch of the kid who the kid who is dead at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm saying you can say the plot of Broadchurch.
Oh yeah,
spoiler.
It's how
spoiler
it started. Spoiler for the opening scene of Broadchurch. Sorry about that. Yes. And then he's also in a movie called The Girl with All the Gifts. He's like the main soldier that is with them.
That movie was really good.
I like that movie.
All right.
And I think he's one of the cops with the mustache, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so I'm gonna look up The Girl with All the Gifts just so we can make sure we're talking about the same person.
I could be quite wrong.
The Girl with All.
I think you might be confusing him with someone else.
No, he's right. He's right. It's Paddy Constantine
from House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched House of the Dragon.
And he's one of the guys in World's End.
He's the twins. In Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
Paddy Constantine for 9 points.
Good job, Jordan. That was on my list.
Thank you. I did not know his name, so I'm glad
He has the best joke in that as the twins during the shootout where he gets hit with all the red sauce and he's like, Andy, it's like, it's a bolognese. It's so funny.
Yeah. Amazing. That's good.
Okay, Tommy, so we're coming to the end of the third round here. So if you want to give me one deep cut, and then I'm going to give you guys a little breakdown of where we stand with the points. Because as we play 6 rounds, this is the halfway point. So Tommy, who is your third deep cut?
All right, so for Dazed and Confused, it was one of her first movies. Renee Zellweger. She was one of the teenagers in the high school.
Damn it, that's the only one I had written, and I wasn't confident about it.
You weren't, because she is uncredited.
Yeah.
And I think you only see her. She's in a truck,
kind of like driving at night.
Yeah, she's got nothing, no lines. She's worth 18 points.
Son of a bitch, Tommy.
Nice. She's not really in it. So Tommy has the lead. Thanks to that and the Kate Blanchett double deep cut. So he has 43 points at the midway point. Alex, you have 32. Oof. Jordan, you have 28.
Okay.
Nobody's out of it.
Yep.
There's still plenty of time for somebody to screw up and give us a 0. It happens all the time. Okay, Tommy. So we're coming back to start the 4th round. Who is your 4th deep cut?
Okay, so for Hot Fuzz, also one of the cops in London was Steve Coogan.
Ooh, well done.
Yeah, I didn't know that till last night when I was looking it up, because I knew the Kate Blanchett one, and I think I kind of knew the Peter Jackson one, like in the back of my mind, but the Steve Coogan one, I did not know. So 16 points for Steve Coogan. Just when we thought this was a close game, he's starting to run away with it. And guess what, Tommy? There's no prizes or anything, so it's just a.
I'll take the glory.
Yeah, a round of applause, and yeah.
And you know what, Jeff? I'm starting to think Tommy hasn't seen it. Has in fact seen it, and it's not going so great.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, your 4th deep cut for us.
Okay, so I'm gonna branch out to Dazed and Confused. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I'm assuming she's pretty high up. But Mia Jovovich is in it.
Yeah, she's one of the potheads that I believe paints the face of the statues so that they look like the band members of Kiss. But she does have a pretty big part in it. I think she plays the guitar at one point and sings a song about aliens or something like that. But she's worth 8 points.
Okay.
She's 8 points. A nice cut. It's Jordan. It's very respectable. Anything close to 10 points is a solid cut. When you're pulling fives and under, that's when you're kind of getting
right.
Yeah,
which might be my next guess.
Alex, you have 2 cuts coming up here.
See, I watched Dazed and Confused and Slackers in the same weekend, so
but nobody's in Slackers.
I know, but I'm never confident about.
Well, if you can think of a person by name, they probably weren't in Slackers.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna stick with Hot Fuzz for one of my guesses.
Okay,
and this one might be a miss because I'm not sure if I'm right, but the NARP guy, is that the Hound from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, that's Rory McCann from Game of Thrones.
Oh wow,
nice.
NARP.
Yeah.
12 points
awesome
for Rory McCann.
And now I could literally only give you like 3 of the leads from Hot Fuzz, so I'm gonna go to Life Aquatic. And is Bob Balaban in that movie?
No, I know who you're thinking of, and it's not Bob Balaban.
Oh no, that's not though. I was so confident. I was sure that it wouldn't be the miss. I cannot believe it.
I think I know who you're thinking of, and it's not.
Do I get half points?
No, there's no points. I'll come back and I'll tell you later who I think you were thinking of. Good try. That might have just sealed the deal on you.
I think it did.
Alex. It did. You really can't afford a 0 at this point. Jordan, that's your window of opportunity, I think, to get into second place if you can give us something here.
Let's see. Dazed and Confused and Life Aquatic. I know more of the main people, but in Hot Fuzz I want to say he's not the reporter. Is Rafe Spall in Hot Fuzz?
Rafe Spall is in Hot Fuzz. He's also one of the detectives in the office. So and that's I wasn't sure that's where you were going with, but yeah, him and Patty Constantine are the detectives. So he's worth a little bit more because honestly, I never know who Rafe Spall is. Like you could say, like I looked him up. I'm like, oh, he's in The Big Short. Oh, he's in Life of Pi. Like he's the reporter in Life of Pi. And I was like,
he's like a chameleon. He kind of looks a little different in every.
And he's the star of The Ritual.
Yeah, it's a different look.
Really good.
Yeah.
And is there not a?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's an Apple series that he's in as well.
Yeah, Trime.
Too, I think called like Trime, which is supposedly really good. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try watching that.
Trying to watch Trime.
I don't.
Nice.
That's a very nice pull, Jordan, because that tightens the game up very much with you and Alex.
Okay.
Tommy, you're on your 5th and 6th deep cuts.
Okay.
I don't want to say you've run away with it yet, but with a good deep cut here, I think you will close the door.
Okay. So I forget the actor's name, but from Hot Fuzz, the guy who was the camera, like NWA guy who always talked about the laughing statue, the old guy in there that blows up by the bomb at the end of the movie. I'm pretty sure he was the lead of the Wicker Man from 1970s.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So that will count. I'm definitely going to have to go look up the original.
This is a movie
Wicker
I
Man.
listened to the commentary to back when I was in middle school. This came out when I was 13, and movies when you come out when you're 13 become your favorite movies. I've seen this hundreds of times.
Okay, so we're talking the 1973. I see a picture of a guy, and he's in Hot Fuzz. And you know what, Tommy? I didn't even write him down because I was like, nobody's fucking gonna get this guy. Because yeah, you're right. He's the guy with like the shotgun.
Yeah.
He's one of the old. He's Tom Weaver in Hot Fuzz, and he's the police officer in The Wicker Man. So Tommy, the rule is if I haven't written a person down, they're worth 20 points because I clearly figured they weren't worth anything.
Real deep pull.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
That's the name of the game, buddy. You nailed it.
So that's 20 points. That's 20 points for you. Tommy, you could throw up any one of the stars here of these movies, and you've still pretty much got it in the bag. But do you have any other deep cuts in your back pocket?
I forget her first name. I think it's Marissa, but in Dazed and Confused, the ginger girl, Marissa Riavisi, she's Giovanni Riavisi's sister.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, she's married to Beck.
In real life?
In real life, yeah, they're all Scientologists.
Hmm.
Yeah. Marissa Ribisi for 15 points because, yeah, most people don't know who she is, but, red's a good color on you.
Yeah.
So, wow. That's a very good game, Tommy. Like, not one, like, your worst deep cut was Joey Lauren Adams, which is a very solid cut for Dazed and Confused. Like, that's pretty good. You did not have to fall to any of the stars of this movie. Jordan, you've got a chance here for second place, which, I mean, going up against Tommy.
And, well done, Tommy. Yeah. I don't think there's anything that I can think of anyway that will bring me back from. Yeah, I don't know who is. I think I'm just gonna have to go with Willem Dafoe in Life Aquatic.
That's right. That's good. It's not a 0. It's not a Bob Balaban bullshit.
It is a 4, though. It is only a 4, though.
Okay.
So
I'm okay with it. It's just happy to be here.
Yep. Alex,
my last guess.
Your last cut. You can catch Jordan here with a decent cut.
So I'm going to take a swing on this because I was really confident about my other guess too. So who knows? But the actress in Hot Fuzz, who's like a little bit insufferable on stage, and she's like, is that Lucy Punch?
It is Lucy Punch. She gets decapitated in the car with what's the guy's name? I actually wrote it down. Is it Tim Messenger? No, Tim Messenger's the reporter in Hot Fuzz. But yes, Lucy Punch gets her head taken off. She's 15 points.
Great. Thank God.
Nice.
Redemption. I mean, not a win, but redemption.
Nice pull. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I will give you the points rundown in a second. Let's see if there was any big or interesting people that you might have missed. The Reverend in Hot Fuzz. So one of the priests, Reverend Philip Shooter, is played by an actor named Paul Freeman, who was Belloc in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just learned that last night. You guys got the Steve Merchant, Rory McCann, and Lucy Punch. David Bradley from all the Harry Potter films. He's
Filch.
Filch from all. Yeah, he's in it as well. You got your Kate Blanchett, Steve Coogan, Peter Jackson. Garth Jennings, the director of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is also in it, as is Edgar Wright, as one of the stock boys who is stocking the shelves. But you guys did well there.
Sorry, Edgar Wright would have got you quite a bit of points, or not that many. So
I mean, he would have been 12. Usually, I give the director of a film a 12 because
they wouldn't be credited. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's always like every time we do an M. Night movie, it's always like M. Night, and it's like, yeah, well, we know he's in every movie,
right?
Yeah,
so
he
if you
stars
know he's
directed.
Or Stan Lee in any Marvel movie, I think is 12 as well.
It's 12. That's kind of our standard. Dazed and Confused. Like I said, most of the big stars have small roles, so nobody went with the Matthew McConaughey. Nobody else went for the Ben Affleck, which would have been a decent amount of points, as would have Nicky Katt, Cole Hauser. But some ones I saw way down at the bottom. Tommy, you're a big Dazed and Confused fan. So you know the teacher that at the very beginning, the female teacher that's teaching them about Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is Kim Krazan, and she's actually the writer of Before Sunrise.
Oh, wow.
So she obviously works with, can't remember the director's
Richard
name
Linklater.
right now.
Is Ethan Hawke in Dazed and Confused? Because that was going to be a shot in the dark for me.
No, he is not.
No. He's on that one.
But then also in Dazed and Confused at the beginning, I believe there's the black teacher that is teaching the grade 8 students. And he's like, boys, I'm going to tell you the same thing I learned when I was in Nam. He played James Jordan, Michael Jordan's dad, in the Air movie recently. So I didn't think that guy was actually working anymore, but he is. And the liquor store clerk in Dazed and Confused also plays a liquor store clerk in Boyhood. So Richard Linklater has obviously a friend and a type of person he's looking for. Alex, your Bob Balaban.
Yeah.
I think you were thinking of Bud Cort.
I don't know if I was. I don't know who Bud Cort is.
Bud Cort's from like Harold and Maude, and if I'm not mistaken, he is God in Dogma.
Oh, like in the hospital bed.
In the hospital
spoilers,
bed.
More sad as God.
Yeah, because it looks a little different.
But I believe when he's playing skee ball, it is Bud Cort, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Angelica Houston, we got Willem Dafoe. Jeff Goldblum would have been a solid pull. Michael Gambon, also from Harry Potter, is Dumbledore. Noah Taylor. The best, one of the two, Matthew Gray Goobler from Criminal Minds is one of the interns on Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, has like no lines. And then director writer Noah Baumbach has a small uncredited role in Life Aquatic.
Greta Gerwig's husband. That's the only thing I know him as.
Didn't he directed that movie like White Noise with Adam Driver that came out last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be with White Noise with Michael Keaton, which is a very respectable horror movie.
Yeah. So the final points. We all know who won. Tommy ran away with this one and is very close to breaking the all-time record. I can't remember what our friend Fred had. He was like 100 and something because he pulled that double deep cut of the guy who was in Fifth Element and Guardians of the Galaxy for something like 35 points or something ridiculous like that. But Tommy, you ended up with 94. So very good score. Definitely in the top 5 all-time scores of the game. Alex, respectable 59, and Jordan 50.
A solid showing for my first time.
What a margin between us and Tommy. Like, not even close. Even if I had gotten 20 in my battle band, it still wouldn't have won it.
Yeah. Well done, Tommy. So the prize is, congratulations. And also, would you like to make a suggestion for who the Deep Cuts game should go after as a, we'll say, celebrity guest, knowing full well we may never get them. We'll probably never get them. And if we do get them, it may be 5 years down the road, maybe 10.
Because we were just talking about Hot Fuzz and we talked about Jack Quaid. I'm going with Simon Pegg, his dad and the boys, and the star of Hot Fuzz.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
You know what? I like it when people suggest people I actually would like to talk to.
Yeah,
too.
totally.
Right? Like, that's great. It's a lot better than like just some jerk that I'm like, well, yeah, that guy's a huge star, but why would I want to have him on the show? But Simon Pegg seems like a really great guy.
I also feel like he'd be good at this game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we should never have Bill Hader on because he's going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
Reject his calls when he calls Jeff.
So that's the end of the game. But so if you guys want to hear more about Tommy and what he's got going on, he's got his own podcast. So Tommy, it's called Haven't Seen It, and you can find it pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah, Apple, Spotify, and Seen It we spell like movie scene, so SCENE. So we're also at Seen It Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the socials.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming on the show, Tommy. Jordan, we heard about you and your good signs on Instagram and everywhere else. Do you got anything else going on you want to talk to people about?
Not much going on, but yeah, if you want to check out any of my music, you can follow me on Instagram. Good Signs. It's like sine waves. It's a pun.
You love a pun. You love a pun, buddy.
Do love a pun. Love a good pun.
Thanks, Jordan. Alex, what about you? What's going on in Alex Young's world?
Not a lot. Last night I was at the review seeing Dreamscape, which I realized at the end I have already seen.
Yeah, we watched it for what we called Bad Movie Night, even though it's not terrible.
It's not amazing. But it was at the end where I'm like, oh, no, I've definitely seen this movie. Like, in the last 10 minutes, I'm like, I've for sure seen it. But it took me the whole movie to realize I had seen it. But I digress in that everybody should go to the review. You should support your local rep cinema. Also across the street is Vinegar Syndrome, has a physical location now in Toronto. I think it's been open for about a year or so. But they've got all kinds of labels. And boy, it's so easy to spend money in a good
They have their headquarters are 20 minutes away from me in Connecticut, down Bridgeport, Connecticut. The Archive, Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, nice.
Amazing place. I bought like a 4K of Dawn of the Dead recently. It's amazing.
You know what? I almost walked out with that too. I did end up grabbing the A24 4K release of Love Lies Bleeding. Mostly because I didn't want to pay American shipping from A24 directly. But they have just an incredible lineup. So everybody go support your local video stores if you are lucky enough to live in a city that has one. That's it, though. That's all I got, Jeff.
Oh, man, that's good. Alex, have you watched, what's the movie, the Toby Hooper film? And Tommy, maybe you've seen it, but is it called Funhouse or Funland? Did we watch that one as part of our Bad Movie Night, Alex?
It might have been on the list. I don't know if we watched it.
But it's about like a carnival, and these kids sneak out at night to go to the carnival, and this little kid sneaks into the back of the car. And then, of course, one of the carnies, this clown, is like a serial killer, and he keeps killing kids. And every time the carnival stops at a different town, he kills more kids, kind of thing. And his dad is his... like always like, we'll hide the bodies, don't worry, and he hides it. So this week I'm watching like an old episode of Criminal Minds, and they just ripped off the entire story. of like a Toby Hooper movie from like 1981. I'm like, I think we know which one of these came first.
Boy, speaking of Matthew Ray Gubler, wow, what a jerk.
Okay, so what happens now is Alex has sent me an outro for the show.
But wait,
which I'm
don't
not,
read it just yet, because I want to ask Tommy a quick question. You mentioned you were going to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Is that for the 50th anniversary? Would that be in August that you guys do that one?
I'm not sure yet. We haven't determined it yet. I've been trying to convince him to cover it. My co-host Tim, he hates horror, and I've been like, we got to cover Texas Chainsaw. So we're either going to do it in August for the 50th. I have it on 4K. I've seen it a million times. Great movie. But we're going to do August or October for Halloween. So
either way, I think you'd be good. But I absolutely love that movie. I haven't seen it in ages.
Well, Tommy, congratulations. Thanks for coming on again. Let's see what horrible things Alex has made me say today. I'd like to thank our contestants, Tommy and Jordan. Congratulations to this week's winner, Tommy. We don't have any prizes, but why don't you tell me what you really want? What you really, really want? I wanna really, really wanna zigga zigza. And of course, thanks to my co-host, Alex Young.
You could have sung it, Jeff, and it would have been more fun, but I
like reading it as though it's just been written. Not that I'm gonna.
I like him reading it too.
You just gotta really break down the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, thanks to my co-host Alex Young. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere you get your podcast. I'm Jeff Penn. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.